live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us for 2 News Live at 5:30. I'm Heidi Hatch. Brian Schnee is off today. It is Pioneer Day here in Utah, Monday, the 24th of July. We're going in depth tonight on the holiday today, the heat and fire concerns all across the state. Also seeing high temperatures and fireworks shows. Before we dive in, though, we want to give you a look at what is making headlines across the state today. First up, a Riverton woman died while serving a senior mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Marina Carver and her husband Richard were involved in a head-on crash on the South Pacific island of Vanuatu. Also today, happening near Yellowstone, a woman was found dead over the weekend after an apparent grizzly bear attack near Yellowstone National Park. Officials there say they found tracks at the scene and that they were investigating that incident. I apologize. I don't usually do this, so I'm getting to the right story here. Another story here, fire damaging buildings at the Duck Club in Davis County. South Davis Metro Fire says it took 18 firefighters to put this one out. Nobody there was hurt. It caused $100,000 in damages. Also happening right now, the gender pay gap. It's a real problem. Heidi Hatch can't make this work. There you go. The gender pay gap between full-time working women and their male counterparts still exists out there, but it is now the smallest gap on record. Full-time working women are now making about 84% of what men are making. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the newscast. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive to join in that conversation. It's probably best to use mine. Brian Schnee's off today. TV Heidi Hatch. You can follow me Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Twitter, though, called X starting today. We'll have to figure out how to talk about that on TV.
Is it called X or is that just the logo?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I'm so confused.
Elon?
If we call it Twitter, if we call it X. But most people here in Utah are talking about the heat, but we just got a major cool down happening in Provo Canyon.
This was wild about 5 minutes ago. You can see, though, lots of standing water, though, as you head between Provo and Heber. So Sundance, Deer Creek right here. We have a nice little thunderstorm that is quickly racing through portions of Utah County. We're going to have these thunderstorms, I think, this evening. So just maybe grab an umbrella just in case. A lot of folks are going to be outdoors, barbecue, fireworks celebrations. We want you to be prepared. It's not a guarantee, though, that you're going to get rain because these storms are pretty hit or miss. So let's get right to your forecast. Here's what you need to know for later tonight. Those temperatures will be cooling off, especially if we get a little bit of rain out there. Today, we've been in the upper 90s, but I think later this evening, expect those temperatures in the 80s generally for the Wasatch Front. But again, there could be a few thunderstorms. Bountiful, Salt Lake, Spanish Fork, all having celebrations tonight. And even St. George, there's a slight chance for a stray thunderstorm. I think there might be a couple developing to your west or to your north. We'll see if we get one or two, maybe just some gusty winds. It will be hot, though, in St. George tonight in the upper 90s after a 106 today being your high temperature. Wendover got to 100 today. We got very close here along the Wasatch Front. Lots of upper 90s. Moab 102, Vernal at 99 degrees. So definitely hot across the state, but it is a slight cool down compared to what we saw over the weekend with those triple-digit temperatures breaking records. 106 Saturday, 104 on Sunday. The reason is that high that was over Utah, it's now shifting more towards the east. So now kind of a monsoon setup. Moisture is being pumped up into Arizona and Utah, and it's helping to spark off these showers and thunderstorms. So here's a live look. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, not really impacting anyone right now out in Box Elder County for winds up to 60 miles per hour, but there's a chance some of these storms could be rolling into the Wasatch Front, especially north of Salt Lake later tonight. But you can see where we have that heavy rainfall. This is the storm that went up Provo Canyon, now approaching Heber, very close to Little Cutwood Canyon right now. And there's another little storm developing over the Oquirrh Mountains that's now pushing into Bluffdale and Harriman. If this holds together, this will bring more rain to the Salt Lake Valley and definitely some gusty winds coming out of some of these thunderstorms. Just a few storms now in central Utah, but some very heavy rainfall, especially in Kane County, west of Lake Powell. This is where radar is estimating 1 to 2 inches of rain already. But notice Beaver down to St. George, we are dry for the moment. Flash flood potential is there at some of those state and national parks, especially Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, Grand Staircase, and Zion National Park. Either a possibility or a probability. We think Capitol Reef will be the best chance for some of those flooding rains a little later tomorrow. So please avoid dry washes, those slot canyons. They can be very dangerous when we have a risk for flash flooding. And it doesn't have to rain on top of it. It can rain several miles away, and then eventually all that rain goes into those slot canyons and there's nowhere to go. So we have these thunderstorms this afternoon. Notice by tonight, this is 8 o'clock. I mentioned those storms to our west. There's a chance, especially Salt Lake North, to see a little bit of rain through this evening and during the overnight hours. I think after midnight, those showers should fall apart. We will be dry, though, tomorrow morning, and then by the afternoon, we still have a little bit of moisture out there. That high continues to move to the east, so maybe some drier air moving into northwestern Utah. But Salt Lake South, there's a chance for some scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Temperatures, they're staying hot. Lots of 90s in central and northern Utah, 80s in the mountains. But that happens before the rain moves in, of course, and then the triple-digit heat down in southern Utah. So St. George, we're at 107, maybe an isolated thunderstorm tomorrow. Drier by Wednesday, especially Thursday, more sunshine. Those highs hover around 107 to 108. And then maybe we'll see early next week, maybe some monsoon moisture moving back into southern Utah. That's what the latest data is showing. Now, Salt Lake, we're going to be near 100 tomorrow and on Wednesday. An isolated storm possible. Overnight lows staying very mild in mid-70s. And then it gets a little bit hotter and drier by the end of the week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our hottest days will be Friday and Saturday at 102. Again, overnight lows in the 70s. I mentioned maybe that monsoon pattern kicking back in. We'll see if that moisture makes it into northern Utah early next week. But generally, it's a pretty hot forecast. Near 100.
Yeah, my grass is certainly showing it's getting a little crispy out there. But
well, you know what? That thunderstorm over Harriman might be coming towards your house. So
all right.
You'll have to text the husband and let me know if you get some rain.
Get ready. And if you have people on the Provo River right now, check in on them because there was some serious rain coming down in that area.
I mean, the storm didn't last too long, but I mean, it was really coming down, maybe a little bit of hail and some strong wind. So hopefully everyone's safe on the Provo River, which is, I know, a lot of folks on the holiday like to float down the Provo. So
I know, and it was hot today, so it was a good plan.
Yeah, it's not hot now.
All right, definitely had that cool down. Hey, we want to take a look at current road conditions outside right now. We're looking at Bangerter Highway in Draper, and it looks kind of like dark skies out there, but still dry in the area, and traffic's moving along. Definitely people heading home from work, but not as many as you'd see on a normal Monday. Well, the heat wave we've seen before the rain today hasn't stopped anyone from celebrating the holiday. Families still lined the streets this morning for the Pioneer Day Parade, stopping by Liberty Park to watch marathon runners cross the finish line as well. Emma Riley joining us from the Days of 47 Rodeo now. And Emma, how are people staying cool out in these high temps right now?
When I spoke to people earlier, they told me they were drinking lots of water, which is definitely needed at this point in the day because it is feeling very hot out here. Earlier, I talked to some people who watched the parade, and they were a little bit relieved that it wasn't in the triple digits like it was over the weekend. They told me it kind of felt cooler than it had in the past few years at the parade, so they were relieved. And right now, you can tell it is getting a lot hotter than it was earlier today.
For sure, the sun is out now. The clouds definitely helping the marathon runners. Probably excited to have those clouds a little earlier today as well. Did you see any of those coming across the finish line?
Yes, I saw lots of marathon runners and they looked really hot, but it was pretty overcast and so it was a little breezy outside. And so I think that definitely helped. I know if it were me running out there, I would be glad that the sun wasn't out.
No kidding. A nice break for them for sure. I know our boss ran the half marathon, so hopefully a good race day for everyone. And everyone stay safe out there. Emma, thanks so much for joining us for 2 News Live tonight. Fireworks season may have ended in other parts of the country, but right here in Utah, it is time for round 2 tonight. Today's holiday, a popular time for fireworks. It makes fire crews across the state nervous about the fire dangers. Lincoln Graves live tonight. And Lincoln, what are crews specifically worried about tonight?
Yeah, so I talked with the Salt Lake City Fire Department, Heidi, and we kind of focused on areas that they're worried about. They certainly mentioned the foothills, and I think most of us think of the foothills when we think about potential fire danger. We have seen brush fire and wildfire in the foothills before, all along the Wasatch Front. That is an area of concern, but of course, fireworks are generally not allowed there, so officials are hopeful people won't be setting them off. But they're also concerned about other areas with high and dry vegetation. And one area that they mentioned is the Jordan River Parkway. Remember, the Jordan River runs all the way from Utah Lake to the Great Salt Lake, so it runs through the entire valley. And there is a lot of high grass there, a lot of dry vegetation. And if we happen to have some sort of a wind event and then a fire spark with some fireworks, officials said, hey, we're worried about this area. This is an area where there are homes along the river, and it's a place we could see a destructive wildfire or brush fire. So that's just one worry that they mentioned earlier to me today. Heidi.
I was down on the Jordan River Trail earlier today. It's definitely dry and crispy down there. I'm sure they're talking about, paying attention to the benches and all those areas. Are they concerned about any other issues specifically tonight, or they just want us to all be on good behavior?
They all want us to be on good behavior, and they actually had some good news to report. Salt Lake City Fire did. They said that they have noticed, or their spokesperson said they have noticed a pretty noticeable shift in behavior over the past few years, as we have talked more about drought and dry conditions, and really trying to hammer that point home of not having human-caused wildfires. Certainly, they see some bad behavior out there, but again, they say no. We've noticed a noticeable change over the past few years of less destructive fires being caused by people being careless with fireworks. Again, it's not an issue that has disappeared, and it's not to say we may not see another issue in the future, but they have at least noticed a positive change. And that's one question I always ask for officials when they have public warnings. How do you make it sink in? Hopefully this is something where it is sinking in a little bit. Heidi?
Oh, I think it is for sure. Not as many major wildfires as we've seen in the past. Fingers crossed it stays that way. All right, stay safe out there. Lincoln Graves live for us. Thank you very much. We'd love to hear from you at home. What does Pioneer Day mean to you and your family? Scan the QR code on your screen if you'd like to weigh in. Right now, the majority of you say just another work day, but 13% say you're getting out and doing some outdoor activities. A few are having barbecues. Others say they're getting a little family heritage in. If you are looking to enjoy some of the Pioneer Day fireworks, there are professional shows this evening after you get done with work all across the state. To name a few here, the Days of 47 Rodeo at the Utah State Fair Park, Fiesta Days fireworks at Spanish Fork City Park, a Pioneer Day celebration at Enoch Park, and down in southern Utah at the Veterans Park in Washington City. If you're looking for a drone show, head to Liberty Park. That's happening in Salt Lake City. All of these events usually start around 10 o'clock when it gets dark out there. We want to take a look at what is trending on our website on KUTV.com tonight. When you go online to look at those trending stories, all you do is scroll down. Right now, a lot of people are talking about this. It happened over the weekend. A performer sustained a head injury after he was run over by a bull during the Days of 47 Rodeo. I believe we're talking to him. We'll have more of his story coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Paramore postponing Salt Lake City show, 3 others due to illness. Mark Cabell loves Paramore. We hear that here in the studio all the time, singing their music. Also, a man critically injured after diving into 18-inch water at a Utah reservoir, so shallow there. You can get updates on these breaking stories again on KUTV.com. We're also following a fire on the East Bench of Salt Lake County right now. As we get updates, we'll post it for you here. Remember all these stories again on the KUTV mobile app, which you can download on your Apple App Store or on Google Play. So far, so good for this holiday. Kind of nice to get these rain showers, but you're going to be tracking them throughout the evening.
Yeah, nice little thunderstorm now rolling through the Salt Lake Valley. So coming up on 2 News at 6 o'clock, we'll be tracking that storm, especially towards the south end of the valley, very close to where you live, Heidi, maybe some heavy rainfall. So this is something that we're going to be seeing over the next couple hours. So kind of a busy night here in the Weather Center, and we'll have updates again on 2 News at 6 o'clock.
Are these rain showers coming with lightning where that might be a concern? Yes. Okay.
Lightning, gusty winds, small hail, heavy rainfall. The only thing about these storms, they don't really last very long. They're moving at a pretty good clip, about 30 to 40 miles an hour.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Keep your eye to the sky. We've got that 2 News mobile app if you want to know what the radar looks like in your area. Thanks for watching. We're here every Monday through Friday at 5:30. We hope you can join us again for more in-depth conversations on the topics that impact you and your family. Have a great Monday and a happy Pioneer Day.